Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our WAPS fellows and friends joining from around the world. Welcome to the 11th Knowledge Sharing Forum, where we continue our mission of exchanging insights and advancing the global productivity movement. Today's session is titled Insights from the 2025 Global Productivity Summit in India. Earlier this year, 2 months ago, WAPS partnered with WCPS India to host this landmark event, a gathering that brought together global leaders, practitioners, and researchers dedicated to advancing the science and practice of productivity. In today's forum, we are honored to hear from four WAPS fellows who attended the summit. They will share their key insights from emerging themes and innovations to lessons learned across business, government, and academia. Most importantly, they will reflect on what these insights mean for the future of productivity worldwide. So, thank you all for joining us. I will go through a couple of slides as a tradition of the Knowledge Sharing Forum. This is the agenda today. I just did the opening remarks. We're gonna actually start our opening remarks from the president of WAPS, and then we're gonna do a quick round of introductions of the speakers, followed by presentations by the speakers. And we're gonna reserve about 20 minutes for Q&A, and then Remy will do the closing remarks, and we will take a Zoom photo.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chen Shengchang, President of World Academy of Productivity Science, WAPS. WAPS is the academic division of World Confederation of Productivity Science, WCPS. Established in 1969, WCPS is a think tank with its headquarters currently located in Montreal, Canada. WAPS's vision is to become the premier global body for the promotion and development of productivity towards achieving worldwide collaboration and sustainable growth. Our mission is to create, enhance, and disseminate the body of knowledge for global productivity through WAPS's worldwide network. Knowledge Sharing Forum, KSF, was introduced by WAPS in 2022 as an online learning program focusing on United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. KSF provides a forum for sharing knowledge and experiences, best practices, and future trends by academicians, thought leaders, subject matter experts, industry leaders, government officials, and fellows of WAPS around the world on productivity-related topics, challenges, and issues.
All right, wonderful. So this is the Knowledge Sharing Forum leadership, and it was started, the Knowledge Sharing Forum was started by Sunil and Anita, of course, and then Remy also joined, and I was the last one, Leon Bian. So today we're going to have four very distinguished WAPS fellows and to talk about the takeaways from the India Productivity Summit. So we're going to go start with a quick round of introductions. So I'll ask in this order on the screen, Dr. Gupta, would you like to spend 1 minute to introduce yourself? Dr. Gupta, are you here? Okay, let's move on to Professor Barnes.
Thank you, Leon. Hi, all. My name is Ban Sukhdeo. I'm from South Africa, from the University of South Africa, sitting on two committees at the World Academy of Productivity Sciences, and recently inducted in August as the regional coordinator for Africa by WAPS. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Barnes. Alicia?
Hi, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. My name is Alicia Zhang. I'm based in Singapore. I was inducted in 2023. I have my professional background in global real estate private equity investment field. So it's an honor to be here today.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. And last but not least, Peter.
Peter Watkins. I'm the president of the World Confederation of Productivity Science. My business activities are where I lead for MTech Group Inc., I lead the research and innovation group and division of that company. And I think I've been working with WCPS as a fellow for close to 20 years. So I've been actively involved for quite some time.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, thank you, Peter. As always, for your support. So I actually don't see Dr. Gupta on the on the Zoom. So we'll start with Professor Barnes. Would you like to share your screen? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Give me 1 second, Leon.
Yeah, sure. Take your time, please.
Can I put it into presentation mode?
Yes, please.
Please tell me if it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Colleagues, thank you for the opportunity. It's an honor to present my takeaways from the recent global summit. Like I mentioned earlier on, a phenomenal summit, which I had the pleasure of attending with some esteemed guests from around the world, especially the productivity specialists and the various dignitaries that were invited. This is actually my second time in India, New Delhi. I stayed at accommodation just around the corner from our Le Meridian, where the global summit took place. There were some very pleasant staff members there. One in particular, he was called a bar captain, and he insisted on making me an alcohol-free drink, which contained jalapenos and tamarind, amongst other ingredients. It was actually just bursting with flavors. Can you see my face? Do you need to see my face? No? Thank you. All right. So he assisted me tremendously especially with the sightseeing and some shopping. He took Amelia and I shopping, and I was just amazed at his impressive knowledge, his immense knowledge of the history of India. We are still keeping in contact via social media now. Some sights and sounds. I had a day off on Monday, just arrived there. It was just amazing. Had 4 hours of sleep. I'm a horrible insomniac anyway. And off to the sights and sounds of India. And just around the corner from the hotel was the India Gate. And you can see me there with the South African flag. And another one was a visit with Amelia to the Red Fort, which this guy Lalit arranged for us. Day 2 was just horrific. Jet lag hit me with the India's heat and the fatigue. I basically slept the whole day. The venue of the summit was absolutely amazing. The 5-star La Meridian, I will recommend that to anybody wanting to visit India. It is just amazing. The stage, I mean, it was a wow moment for me. I mean, we have large screens in South Africa, but not as large as this one. It was 30 meters or so in length. And the technology, the knowledge of the large crew that sat on the other side that assisted with the presentations. They had a TV around here that you could listen and read all your presentation notes. There were seats on stage as well. So my title of my paper was Productivity, Leadership, and Sustainability for the Benefit of Humankind. This was presented at a knowledge sharing forum previously. Dr. Sunil Abrol insisted that I present it here. It was just amazing. It was very well received by the audience. There was quite a large audience in India from various parts of the world. Several questions which were wholeheartedly answered, especially with regard to South Africa's current position. They loved my my comments on the special one that I spoke about, is that everybody wants a job, but nobody wants to work. And the one that says that labor in South Africa seems to be in a continuous call for increased remuneration. But with that increased remuneration, I believe that there should be a simultaneous increase in productivity. I mean, this speaks to a win-win for the employer and employee. The induction of the fellow that was done, I'm not sure if I can see that, sorry, of Miss Amelia Naidu. She was nominated by myself for her sterling work to enhance productivity in South Africa. She's currently the acting CEO of Productivity South Africa. She was one of the first nominees from Africa or South Africa. We are hoping that going forward, as the regional coordinator, I can liaise with some of the international African countries to see where are these productivity champions that are making such a significant impact on the world today. We want them on board with WPCS and WAPS. So her topic was called Harnessing AI and Digitization to Enhance Operational Efficiency in State-Owned Entities in South Africa. And she specifically spoke about productivity essay. It aligned very succinctly with the theme of the summit. And it was very well received. Amelia spoke very well. Can I just go down? Why I'm not going down? Okay. These are just some pictures from the summit. These were the awards that each presenter received. And these were the team that presented the Regional Africa Awards. As the WAPS regional coordinator for Africa, there was a certificate handed to me. It's the main reason why I attended the summit, to be inducted by WAPS and WPCS. I foresee a lot of work going forward as a takeaway from what I've seen from the delegates, from the audience that spoke on various topics and issues relevant to productivity enhancement in the world, if you look at that. We're going to look at productivity essay interventions and various organizational interventions in South Africa. We have a dilemma in South Africa where we have organizations that sometimes struggle because they do not measure their efficiency and productivity on a regular basis, and hence struggle with sustainability. So the aim here is to ensure that we don't allow those companies to close shop. Because remember, with every company that closes shop, there's an average of 4 mouths or 4 stomachs that go hungry. So that is the main aim, objective of us through this process, being nominated as the regional coordinator, to look into Africa, not only South Africa, look at these productivity champions, and then try and bring them on board with a plus minus 500 fellows that we have from throughout the world. These are some of the awards that we collected. That was the first one was for the presenting. This was the fellow, and here from one of the dignitaries. Also from Peter Graham Hastings from England. We are still in contact. He's got relatives in South Africa. He's coming to visit us in 2026, and he insisted that he will make a turn with me so I can show you some sights and sounds of South Africa. The Global Summit, some insights. I think the aim, the summit addressed AI's role in productivity enhancement, focusing on challenges and opportunities to build a green, prosperous, and sustainable world. We need to look into the future. We need to look at sustainability the way the world is moving right now, it's critical that we have organizations like this that come together. And we saw the various other organizations that gave presentations and spoke about the necessity for productivity enhancement to meet these challenges of sustainability issues. Most importantly, I got a chance to meet face to face with members from around the world whom, for the last 15 years, I've only connected virtually. So that was the likes of Dr. Shanil Abrol, our own very Anita Tang, and WPS President Peter Watkins, Graham Hastings, Veena was there, Prof. Sharma, Dr. Kader, it was Dr. Kalam, and the likes of them. Was really looking forward to meet my fellow African Remy, but next time, Remy, we're going to meet in South Africa, hopefully. The summit was very well organized. We were welcomed and made to feel so comfortable from the time we entered till the time we left. Staff were very efficient, very helpful. The keynote address, this gentleman, he is held in such high esteem in India right now, Sri Nitin Gadkari. Wow, he was accompanied by his bodyguards. I mean, you see the size of those firearms those guys were carrying. He's the Honorable Minister of Roads and Transport and Highways. His interventions for improvement of road infrastructure is unequaled, and he continues to improve that. 2 points which resonate with me, takeaways from this keynote address, was his commitment to promoting the use of alternative fuels. Now, just imagine the amount of pollution that can be caused with the various vehicles and the need for moving to alternative fuels. He's built over 70,000 kilometers of national highways in India already. The facilitator, apart from being very good looking, was also very eloquent, very strict to time. She made sure the presentation started and ended timelessly. Everybody talks about Indian time. At this summit, at this global summit, there was no such thing as Indian time. She kept strictly to time, and I think that efficiency allowed for a smooth functioning of all the presentations that came there. I particularly liked the garlanding of the dignitaries and the draping of a shawl on those dignitaries. The lamp lighting, which is so significant in my Hindu culture. And that was one of the highlights for me. The brochure was so impressive. There's an example of it here with the partners, the sponsors, the speaker profiles. This was very, very impressive. I like the structure of the summit. The organizers must be applauded for the way they structured this in the various different category. I mean, normally in conferences, the emphasis is on paper presentations. But here at our summit, we had a combination of plenary sessions, workshops, with a dedicated moderator overseeing the discussions, keeping the presenters to time, ensuring that the audience don't get carried away with questions, keeping the relevance of it. The workshops were absolutely tremendous. And then there was the technical papers, of which I presented one of them. I was impressed by the wealth of knowledge and the interventions by the various organizations. AI and the technical age is flying at an astronomical speed in India. It is just amazing. It is so impressive to see this in India. And this was also so evident at our global summit during the various presentations. Emerging themes, innovations, lessons learned from business, government, academia, and reflections on its meaning for the global product improvement. These were some of the points I just picked up from the themes. Aligning vision and strategy, defining the artificial intelligence pathway, AI's role in driving the future of the oil and gas and energy industry, AI in manufacturing industry. This was a huge category. The AI in infrastructure, logistics, automotive productivity, AI application in education and skills, unlocking business foresight, and with generative AI, AI in power and mining, AI in agriculture, fintech, cybersecurity, ethical AI, healthcare, and even we spoke about medical innovations. So you see the themes were so comprehensive. And over the 2 days, I felt that with these themes and the questions that were asked, we could have went on for a week with the discussions that were taking place. They were so interactive and so comprehensive. There were clear messages that organizations to move on with the age of AI and keep abreast of the latest technological advancements that we see. We just cannot be allowed to be left behind. Uh, what are the repercussions of being left behind? Are you allowing your company to be left behind? Your competitor are going to get to the market quicker than you if you don't allow AI to get involved with AI. Mention was made of the incorporation of AI tools, systems, technologies in operations, lean manufacturing, quality, supply chains, safety, education, skill development, with the aim of enhancing productivity. The message was so clear that it was incumbent upon organizations to get on board with this digital age. Or you can run the risk of your sustainability of your organization. If the other competitors are going the AI route, getting automation, moving with the latest technological developments, you cannot afford to be left behind. You need to beat your competitors. Other takeaways from the summit: the case of the CTO at Mahindra, spearheading AI-driven digital transformation, data strategy and analytics. This for me was huge in a country like India, where the automotive industry is so huge. Here, AI and big data analytics are leveraged to unlock business intelligence, operational efficiency, and generate revenue growth, thereby enabling these organizations to make ready decisions for the future, data-driven decisions. List of lots of opportunities for networking and informal interaction. You can see during the breaks, at the end of the session, end of the day, people were not leaving the hall. They were getting involved in networking. I am still receiving calls and messages. Just yesterday, I received a message from a gentleman who sat in our get together, our meeting at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, our WAPS meeting. I'm just very glad to have put South Africa on this global map. Some other lessons learned, and not much, apart from, I would say, the very, very limited inclusion of the female gender at our summit. My feeling is that we need to certainly address this gender inequality. However, there were some outstanding presentations from the four members, as you can see at the bottom, and our very own Vice President, Anita Tang. Congrats to Dr. Sunil, I must say, and to your whole team for a very, very well organized and successful 2025 Global Summit. For consideration, I say forward to South Africa 2027. And I thank you for that.
Well, wonderful, Professor Barnes. Definitely, I think, folks would be very interested in visiting South Africa in 2027. And my other takeaway is I would really like to try that drink. So anyway, let's move on. And thank you again for the great presentation. So let's move on to Alicia, if you want to share your screen.
Sure. Bear with me for a second. Could you see my slides?
Yes. Is it possible to present?
Okay. How is it?
A bigger, yeah, this is better.
Okay. Bear with me. Just give me one more second. Sorry, could you see my slides?
Yeah, we can see your slides. Oh. Now we only see half.
How is it now?
Let me see. Yeah, I think this is okay. Right now it's
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
So as I move through the slides, could you see okay? All right, great, thank you. So it was a great honor to join the Global Summit alongside with a group of very distinguished professionals, researchers, academics, and entrepreneurs. So it was great for me to see academic and industry practitioners working side by side with a common goal to advance productivity with a focus on AI. And I just wanted to say kudos to the conference organization team for a very successful conference. And also I would like to extend my special thanks to WAPS for the very in-person fellowship ceremony, even though we had an online induction ceremony in 2023 for some of us. So thank you for that very special in-person ceremony. And in addition to obviously learning from many thought-provoking presentations on cutting-edge AI research and technologies, as you could see from the pictures here, we also made a lot of new friends, and which was great from all over the world. So I wanted to share a fun facts which I learned and I didn't know before the conference. Which was, it was as early as 1956 that AI became a formal field of study globally, which was almost 70 years ago. But it is only until the very recent few years that AI has becoming such a defining technology for our times, which is now being used for optimizing resources, increasing productivity, and reducing wastes. So this year's Global Summit was my first very comprehensive learning and exposure to AI applications in various fields. So before the conference, I did actually look up the definition of AI, which I put at the bottom of the slides. And I wouldn't read it, but we could all agree the reason why I looked it up was because AI has been such a catchphrase. The word AI sometimes might have been very widely used and sometimes was even being abused to some extent. Almost everything and anything that's associated with the word AI seems to be attracting a lot more attention or capital than those that are not associated with the word AI. So I was very glad to learn from the true AI experts in this global summit. Through various plenary panel discussions and then technical paper presentations, a lot of AI applications and the themes, the impact in various industries were addressed in the conference. And I must admit that as somebody who comes from a financial and investment background, I don't fully comprehend everything that was shared in the conference. But one common theme that came across that was very obvious to me was that AI will become a cornerstone in shaping the future of all these industries. And each of these industries is leveraging AI to drive productivity, growth, and sustainability. In the meantime, they are taking into consideration of sustainability, environmental impact, societal impact, economic and ethical impacts, which was great for me to learn from all these speakers. Let me just take the oil and gas and energy industry as an example. This is an industry that for many of us may or may not be considered traditionally to be associated with the word green or sustainable. But I think what I learned from that conference, from some of the speakers in the oil and gas and energies panel discussion was that this industry is using AI applications to advance sustainability through real-time emission insights without compromising operational efficiency, which was very, very difficult to achieve. And so these are some of the examples that I learned through the conference. And because Professor Barnes have had such a great sharing on the details of the content of the conference, which I will not want to repeat it. So what I'm going to do in the next few slides is to focus on a few topics from the global summit, which resonated with me really well. And also, I also wanted to end with a few questions that arise from the conference that piqued my interest and prompted me to reflect and learn more even after the conference. And I would love to share that with you. I don't have answer for all of these, but I would love to hear your thoughts and discussions even after this sharing session. So one of the messages from one of the speakers at the conference that resonates deeply with me was the point about we don't always see AI on balance sheets. And this point resonates with me probably because of my financial and investment background. But I think what he was referring to is to the fact that expenditure on AI for most of the companies, including software licensing, development costs, or training, they are usually categorized under technology infrastructure or R&D or other operating expenses. So the expenditure of AI is not explicit and it's not very visible. And because these specific AI expenditures are usually blended with many other costs, the transformative effect of the investment in AI are largely unknown or not very precisely tracked in terms of the investment and the effect or the positive or negative impact from AI was not very well tracked. So one may ask, what's the financial reporting has to do with productivity? It seems it's only relevant. Financial statements might be just relevant to financial analysts who are investing in stocks or investors who have an interest to invest in companies. But in my view, it is actually very relevant to all of us, and it's also very relevant to productivity because a collection of the companies that's in the same industry, that's in the same goods or services provider category constitutes an industry. So some transparent financial data on precisely how much dollar amount AI was spent and then how it helped to increase certain sales or certain services could help us to understand the precise impact of a company or an industry's productivity. And then because given how much capital that we've been hearing on headline news that's pouring into AI, if I could quote a few numbers, in addition to formal bank lending into the AI industry, for example, private lending to AI this year was about 150 billion in the first 9 months of this year. Venture capitalists invested about 193 billion into AI startups in the first 9 months of this year. So with this much of capital that's constantly pouring into the AI sector, I think to be able to track what spending is the most productive and has the most positive impact on the company, on an industry, or on a society, it's very important. But it's something for us to think about that this category of AI spending is still very vague on the balance sheets today for most companies. So this is one of the key things that resonates with me that I took away with and spend more time to study after the conference. Another key message that resonates very well with me was AI does not work well without data, and data is the food for AI. And I remember a computer science expert once said, AI is essentially pattern recognition. So if it's pattern recognition, then it becomes very important to be able to collect right data, accurate data, how the data is being collected, and then how it can be leveraged to make decisions or drive innovation. And I think we can all agree that with the usage of AI, it also comes with trust and responsibility, especially ethical responsibility of the use of AI. And data privacy and regulations varies by country. And it's something that, as I listen to the keyword of data, it's food for AI. That's something that I keep on wondering about the opportunity and challenges that lies ahead. I don't have an answer, but I would love to hear what others think, even after this session. As we move forward and think about the risks and opportunities of the application of AI, I think the conference also piqued my interest, and I'm sure for many of you who attended the conference too, is to think about what lies ahead with the rapid rise of AI. And the conference, after the conference, it did prompt me and my interest to learn more about the sector, which I know very little about. And I started to do some research, and something that's starking for me is the United Nations estimated that the AI market is projected to reach $4.8 trillion by 2033. That's equivalent to about 4.3% of last year's global GDP. It may look very small, but if you think about the challenge of economic growth today, to be able to grow 4.3%, that's huge. And if you put that dollar amount compared to 10 years ago in 2023, this dollar amount was about 25, will be about 25 folds. So to me, it's such a rapid rise of the sector, and it does keep me wonder. And I'm sure that many of us wonder, and a lot of the speakers touch on this point in the conference, was about the impact of AI on jobs. And essentially, AI is connecting data, technology, and processes, and people. So as data and technology became more advanced, I think we all have a question: what's the role of human beings in this whole process? And I think one of the takeaways from one of the speakers in the conference is it varies by industry, it varies by company size. And then as I learn more after the conference, it also varies by country. Just to share some of the learnings that I found after the conference was that if you look at this chart, you could find that the advanced economies will be the most impact. The workers from the advanced economies will be the most impacted by AI and the job. But in the meantime, advanced economies will also be the most beneficial to AI, because even though 33% of the jobs will be negatively impacted by AI, but 27% of these of the advanced economies' jobs will also be enhanced by AI, which means it could boost productivity, it could complement human skills. So it's not of a definitely positive or negative answer. The answer is probably lies in between. Are we going to lose all the junior and analyst jobs? Probably not. But are we going to benefit more and advance a lot faster? I think that's probably the takeaway from here as I learn more after the conference. So I'm going to end on this very last slide that I think, even though AI is borderless, but unfortunately, so far, the dominance of AI is amongst a few very advanced, wealthy economies in the world. And the governance of AI is very, very fragmented right now. And add on to a lot of geopolitical tensions that's arise in different parts of the world today. It's complex, it's challenging, but I think global cooperation is probably the most essential. And I'm honored to be part of WAPS, which has such a great global representation of fellows around the world. So I think WAPS is an organization that's very well positioned to bridge some of these gaps amongst different economies. With that, I will end my presentation and hand over to Leon.
Thank you, Alicia. I just wanted to make a quick comment about AI, and Professor Barnes also mentioned AI. It's very, it's obviously we have seen a lot of investments into the AI space. And a couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article published by MIT NANDA. It's called State of AI in Business 2025. You might have read this article, and I'll be happy to share the link in the chat. The conclusion is very striking. 95% of the businesses surveyed by MIT have found zero return on AI investment. So AI is still in a very early stage. And in fact, I'm thinking we should have another forum, maybe in the next KSF, we can talk about AI again. But thank you, Alicia, for the great presentation and sharing your insights from the summit in India. So let's move on to Peter.
Good. Thank you. I don't have a slide presentation, but I have written a speaking set of papers, and I'll talk to those. First, let me say I'm delighted to be able to provide my thoughts and reflections on the key takeaways from the Global Summit on Productivity. And I was very impressed with all aspects of the Global Summit of Productivity in the Age of AI. The organization was of high quality, very professional. The venue and hotel accommodations were excellent. The speaker and industry sector leaders were outstanding. And the speeches by the Indian guests of honor and the chief guest and guest of honor, Shri Nitin Jairam Gadkari, were superior and thought-provoking. So congratulations to the organizers of the event and to the meaningful contribution of this event to India's broader national vision of Viksit Bharat, aiming to transform India into a global economic powerhouse by its 100th year of independence. India is well on its way. Professor Barnes covered the agenda of topics, defining the AI pathway, oil and gas industry, manufacturing industries, infrastructure, logistics, education, skilling, power and mining, cybersecurity and ethical AI, healthcare and medical innovation. It was a very comprehensive topics. My comments are going to focus on defining the AI pathway, and I'll be doing a comparison of how the approach of India matches and differs from the strategies of the US and China. And I'll discuss the current impact of AI on the job sector of the technology sector in India, and provide some conclusions and thoughts for going forward. Other things that, excuse me, that I learned that I didn't know when I got to India was it has the largest air force in the world, the most comprehensive highway system in the world. It's on target to become #1 in the world in textile manufacturing. And my tour guide tells me that because of 1.4 billion people in India, there's approximately 23 million newborn residents each year. And from a Canadian perspective, that's more than 50% of the entire population of Canada at 44 million. So the scale of India, both its infrastructure, manufacturing, and its economic and population and society management is quite impressive. India acknowledges it's in a global race with the US and China to achieve a dominant position in AI. And nation states are in a race to ensure they attain and retain their world leadership status. India's investment in AI is expected to grow to an annual 38% rate, reaching 10.4 billion by 2028. The focus will be on agentic AI, infrastructure, and sectoral focus on manufacturing, retail, healthcare, and sciences. In the US financial year 2025 federal AI and IT R&D budgets exceeds 11 billion. The focus is on defense, healthcare, autonomous systems, and large-scale data management. And private sector investments by Oracle, Microsoft, Google, and many others are in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So the scale of the capital investment in AI in India, the US, and other countries is quite incredible. In China, artificial intelligence investment is projected to reach 27 billion by 2026, double previous years, including an 8.2 billion AI fund for startups and investments in an AI stack. China's goal is to be the global AI leader by 2030, with AI contributing 1 trillion in value across industries. At the Global Summit, India's strategy for AI was described as a multifaceted and ambitious blueprint aimed at achieving sovereignty in artificial intelligence, sovereignty in data, energy infrastructure, and ethical governance. The sovereignty strategy is geared towards achieving national resilience, inclusive development, and global leadership aspirations. And one thing I was struck with that the AI strategy of India, as articulated in India AI, is for the social good. And that differs from the United States and other countries where in the US it's defense, manufacturing, and commercial, but not a focus on how to achieve social growth and society benefits. So the AI sovereignty building capability in India is focused around a sovereignty pyramid with chips and hardware sovereignty, investment in semiconductor manufacturing and chip design to reduce dependency on foreign hardware, cloud and platform sovereignty, development of sovereign cloud infrastructure and hyperscale data centers to basically wean themselves off the US cloud infrastructures of AWS and others being provided. AI and data sovereignty, foundational AI models rooted in Indian languages and contexts, such as Bashini platform for multilingual AI. The Bashini initiative leverages open source frameworks to build natural language processing models that support 22 official Indian languages and numerous dialects. And this project goes beyond basic language processing. It signifies India's dedication to AI democratization by making these models and datasets freely available to developers and startups. And knowledge sovereignty, control over how data is collected, processed, and transformed into intelligence, ensuring alignment with national interests. The Indian AI mission of $1.2 billion investment to build compute infrastructures, 10,000 GPUs, national datasets, a national dataset platform for training AI models, and Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is India's first data privacy law, ensuring data governance and user rights. The second pillar of the strategy is data sovereignty, control, localization, and governance. And that involves territorial control and ethical usage, covering such things as restrictive strategy, accumulation strategy, and also involves global efforts of global partnership between countries under the Global Partnership on AI, GPAI, as a theme. Sovereignty in energy infrastructure for sustainable power and independence. India's energy strategy integrates AI to meet its 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel target by 2030 and net zero by 2070. And I won't go through all the different aspects of that, but essentially, as you look at what India is doing, it's trying to create a complete, separate, sovereign infrastructure to wean itself off the OpenAI, the Microsoft, Google, and other US platforms, whereby the citizens of India and their information and the data would be aggregated in US controlled data sets, data centers, and software platforms. We're actually seeing that trend for sovereignty occurring, not just in India, but in other countries around the world, including Canada. So it's transformational in terms of what will that mean to the economies of the world as they shift to effectively sovereign information technology platforms and data, as well as large language AI models. That's something that we've not yet seen the impact of, but strategically, that is the direction the world is going. India's ethical AI framework is grounded in human-centric transparency and inclusion. It's in the AI governance framework, 2025 to 26, includes risk-based classification, AI Safety Institute to oversee ethical AI development and safety protocols, and the unique Indian philosophy of Samaj, Sarkar, Bazaar model of aligning society, governance, government, and market for inclusive AI innovation. And there's a number of excellent papers describing this model. It's quite different from what exists in governing a technology in other countries. So India is positioning itself as a normative leader in AI, distinct from the US and China. It's promoting open innovation, championing AI for sustainable development goals, and AI solutions tailored to India's diverse population and local challenges. In addition to the Indian government's major investments in sovereign AI, OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft have all announced major investments in India to support the country's growing artificial intelligence community. OpenAI plans to build a 1 gigawatt AI data center in India, a part of its $500 billion Stargate project. It's opening an office in New Delhi, a legal entity in India, and open its first office by late 2025. To India's price-sensitive market, it's launched a new low-cost subscription plan. And India is the leader in participants in use of ChatGPT and other Copilot and other online AI ChatGPT related type, ChatGPT languages and services. Google is putting a $10 billion investment to build a hyperscale data center cluster, 3 campuses and submarine cable infrastructure. It's localized its Gemini 2.5 flash model for India. It's supporting Indian startups through collaborations with Bombay and Indian AI mission startups. Microsoft has made a $3 billion commitment and is investing $3 billion over 2 years to expand cloud and AI infrastructures. And I won't go through all the detail, but why India? India is now the second largest market for OpenAI's ChatGPT and is a global hub for AI talent and startups. So this is all positive and wonderful, but what is the immediate impact we're seeing of AI in India and particularly on the Indian IT workforce? As you know, India has some of the largest technology companies in the world: Wipro, TCS, Tech Mahindra, Infosys. I can go on. Each company with 100,000 to 200,000 employees. And the issue, one of the key benefits of AI is in its ability to write code. And if you think about it, because they have large language models, software is a language for communicating with a machine. And therefore, it's a natural result that being able to write languages and source code is a natural next step, as it were, for AI. And we're seeing that impact these technology companies like TCS and others. For example, TCS has laid off 12,000 employees, and other reports suggest the real number could be closer to 30,000. Infosys cut nearly 25,000 jobs in 2024 and is planning more in 2025. Wipro and Tech Mahindra removed 24,000 and 10,000 roles respectively, with HCL Tech shed over 8,000, and hiring has slowed dramatically with 72% drop in new additions compared to previous quarters. And why the cuts? AI and automation is replacing routine tasks like coding, testing, and maintenance. Companies are shifting from labor-intensive outsourcing to AI-driven, outcome-based models. Middle-level roles, especially those tied to legacy systems, are most at risk. And low-cost hubs like Vietnam and the Philippines are taking over simpler services. The result is that these companies have to pivot and shift how they respond to the impact of AI on the technology sector. They are shifting. TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech, and Tech Mahindra are being repositioned as AI integrators, not just service providers. But they're looking for some aggressive growth and shift in the market. And without aggressive reskilling of their workforce, hundreds of thousands of jobs could be lost permanently. The estimation up to 300,000 roles at risk without reskilling or a shift in how the Indian technology companies are approaching the marketplace to respond to the impact, the immediate impact they're seeing of AI. So so to finish with a more positive note, one of the things that impressed me from the Global Summit was the potential impact of AI on education and reskilling. And one of the things we see emerging very rapidly in countries around the world is the AI as an agentic AI as an educator, replacing teachers to give the ability to have real-time, immediate assessment of students' knowledge and capabilities of a particular subject, and then bring forward information and training material that will address that weakness or that need for change, and effectively disrupting the model of having to spend 12 years going through an educational system, which some would argue is really structured to keep people out of the workforce until they're 18 years old. But why would their education and knowledge be gated with that type of multi-year training program. Anyway, there are examples right now in China particularly of society starting to look for better answers. And AI appears to provide in the educational training some really superior answers as seen in the educational results of people going through a sort of an AI-enabled educational program. So I'll stop there and I'll turn it back to Leon.
All right, Leon is another assignment quickly, and I'm going to take over from here. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Peter. That was a very good presentation. Some of us who are not in India were missing so much, but I think I got a lot of feedback, and this feedback is good for us. I'm learning about, how India is using AI for very positive impact on society, and I think that is commendable. I love the way they've accepted the AI in India and how it's become the largest, second largest, market for open AI. That is awesome and very remarkable. Thank you very much. All right, without taking more time, I want to quickly move to the next speaker, Dr. Amis Gupta, to take us on what are your experiences in India? What did you present? How did you see the whole thing? AI. What's your perspective to that? Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Amis Gupta. You have slides to show, or you're going to go without slides?
Yes, I do have slides. First, it's good to see Tom after 23 years. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
All right. You want to do this from your side? I think you have the slide with you. So go ahead. Thank you.
So I have my take on, first of all, I really thank the organizers. It was a very good event, and we all enjoyed ourselves and learned a lot about various initiatives that are happening in the country. And so that was a very good learning experience for me to understand what all things are happening. Okay. So the theme of this summit was AI-enabled productivity. There's a lot of talk about AI, and so I just wanted to, maybe present a little bit of a contrarian view. First, I would like to thank Tom for nominating me for this fellowship. It's an honor to be nominated, and I guess I've known Tom for almost 35 years now, so it's an honor. Second, Tom did a session on AI, on productivity for us many years back. I'm going to just present it like this because there's some problem with my this thing. And he said something that productivity ensures that every generation of human beings will have a life that is better off than their predecessors, right? And so that's something we need to keep in mind. That is that happening? Will that happen with all the technology which is coming in? Second is this. India is not a homogeneous country. India is a very heterogeneous country. So if you look at India, there is not one India, but there are many Indias, and each one exists. Many times I feel each one exists at a very different time period, right? So there are huge differences between urban and rural areas, and that's evident in people also. So we are a country which has a huge degree of variability. If I look at it from from a normal curve, it's a huge degree of variability, right? So we are not a country which has low variance. It is very high variance. So we need to keep that in mind. Second, the other thing is as I listen to all these conversations about where AI is going to have an impact, I'm reminded of this framework by Charles Perrow. This is a 1967 framework where he talked about task variability, and task analyzability. And accordingly, he categorized things into routine, engineering, craft, and non-routine, right? So if task analyzability is low and this variability is either high or low, you either go for a craft or a non-routine. So you have a craft or a non-routine situation. And it seems to me that as we look at applications of AI, at least currently, a lot of applications are in areas where there is a great degree of routineness and where we are trying to use AI in engineering functions, right? And not, it's more difficult to do AI in craft and non-routine functions. Okay, so that's one thing that struck my mind. Other thing is this notion is that productivity will lead to peace to humankind. These were some of the things that were thrown. Obviously, productivity sciences, we sort of tend to look at everything from the framework of productivity, all aspects, not only of organizational functioning, but also our personal lives. We focus a lot on productivity, right? That are we being productive? Are we moving in the right direction and all that? And I think that's a question mark for me. The other thing is, I think there has been a discontinuity with the introduction of LLMs. If you look at the last 30-35 years, technology has been progressing incrementally. It is not really, there's no discontinuity. We were doing minor changes to computers and technology and trying to find more applications of computers and technology. But this introduction of these LLMs is really something which is path breaking. Okay, and I don't think anybody is very clear of what impact it will have, because there is a lot of second guessing on how it will impact organizations, organizational functioning, employment, labor wages, employment of, all those things. And there's it's up in the air. And I think many of these things will sort of unravel over the next 5 to 10 years. So whether AI will lead to positive impact or negative impact is a question mark. The other interesting thing that I see around me today is that a lot of technologies that were developing in parallel have come together. So for example, the entire thing about robotics, LLMs, IoTs, right? All of these technologies have, for the first time, reached a stage where they have all been integrated. And that's posing a lot of, I think there's a lot of positives and negatives of those things. So for me, the issue is that, yes, we need to look at these AIs, but how do we look at them? How do we ensure that we keep people and, at the center, and we use them for the benefit of people and not to the detriment of people and societies? And that, I think that's something which is still up in the air. Okay. We have been very fortunate. We have a Prime Minister in Mr. Narendra Modi, who has put a lot of emphasis on technology, and he has, they have identified these internet ICT technologies, including chips, etc., AI chips, etc., to be the center of the next revolution. And I think we want to make sure that we don't miss that bus, because I think India has been very good at missing all the buses or flights or whatever, right? So he has, he has mandated that we develop all these things. India AI mission, for example, AI for all, then indigenous LLMs, and then Bhashini, as Peter had talked about, is a language translation LLM. Okay, so India has about 22 to 25 official languages, plus I'm not sure how many dialects it has, but it could run into a couple of hundred dialects. So how we manage that is going to be a very interesting issue. Then obviously there have been some very routine applications in terms of energy is a very important element for us, and so there has been a lot of focus on energy and infrastructure, and so they have come up with smart grid missions and all that stuff. Regulatory focus, there has been a lot of regulatory focus, but I think the challenge in India is that the policies are good, implementations are suspect, right? It's very difficult to implement things in a country which is huge. It's a continental sized country. But certainly the entire AI and technological imperative is being driven from top down. Okay, and I think everybody is sort of following these things. Some of the emerging themes is it seems that there is a lot of talk of AI. AI is everywhere. There is a Bharat GPT. There is a lot of talk of responsible AI, and we have all heard about these guardrails, ethics, training biases, regulation gaps, etc. And history has shown that government is typically behind when it comes to regulating new technologies. Because the technologies, it's very difficult to understand these technologies, and even more difficult to regulate, right? And I think this issue of training biases and all that has been well documented, both in the social media and in the research, scientific research journals. Some very specific applications of technology were discussed. One was, of course, related to energy, that AI is for energy and energy is for AI, because obviously we need a huge investment in energy if we have to make all these data centers, etc., viable. And so how we are going to do that is anyone's guess. So we are diversifying our energy portfolios, but the kind of predictions of the amount of energy we need for these data centers, even from a US perspective, is just mind-boggling, right? Everybody is worried about sovereignty and security, all right? Cyber security, sovereign infrastructure, data protection. Every country is going for make XXX great again. And every country wants these data to be, secured within their own borders. And the way things have progressed, they might be justified, so that's going to be a big challenge. How we manage these data sovereignty and security concerns of various countries is going to be a huge challenge. All right. It might be easier to do for geographies which are larger, but if you have countries which are smaller, it will be very difficult for them to do this. And obviously, people is a very big issue, because India is a country, as Peter said, we add, a couple of million, half the size of Canada every year. So, but unfortunately, there are many countries which do not do that. So for us, managing these people, providing them employment, providing them a viable livelihood is extremely important. And I really liked Professor Barnes' statement that everybody wants a job, but nobody wants to work. So that was a very interesting statement. I just can't get over it, which is a problem in India also, especially in the government sector. Everybody wants a government job, and as soon as they become a regular employee, it becomes extremely difficult to give them exit, and then productivity goes for a toss. But the change management issues are going to be humongous. Okay. I think we have just started in terms of people getting laid off because they are not trainable. So what exactly is, how exactly, and coming from educational sector, we are really struggling. What should we change if we have to prepare our people for the next generation? right? I mean, if you have to prepare our people for times to come, right? It's a very big struggle. I think every country is facing that problem. I don't think it's India is unique in that sense. A lot of industry practices were discussed, and these were some specific applications of AI and sensor technology. For example, leak detection system. This was specific to IOCL, which has huge, that is Indian Oil Corporation Limited, and they have pipelines across the country. And another application which was discussed was this customer engagement application called Jyoti. So a lot of these applications have come out. Of course, round the clock power is still a challenge in India, at least in areas which are remote. And so we need to rethink whether we need a centralized grid or a localized energy production system, especially for remote areas. Okay, and today, fortunately, given the alternatives to thermal or nuclear or or this hydro energy, and the emergence of solar and wind energy, this might be possible. Other very applications were predictive maintenance, AI in safety and precision inspection, and again AI adoption of AI, right, via embedded technologies, right, and mining and infrastructure was optimization, automation, and all that. But as I listened to all these things, again, for me, the thing was that a lot of these were routine and engineering technologies, not really craft or non-routine, right? So we need to figure out how we will do all these things. How we'll address the craft and non-routine part of technologies. For me, there are two big issues. One is we have a huge problem of corruption, leakage, and wastage. And how can AI help reduce that? So if you remember, at the end of his talk, Nitin Gadkari talked about, can somebody help develop an AI which can evaluate proposals for me so that I know where the leakages will happen, corruption will happen, right? So that's a monster for a country like India, right? And of course, for us, biggest challenge is people, because we have 1.4 billion people, with roughly 50 to 60% at a younger age. And given so how do we provide a meaningful employment and life to these people is a big challenge. And for all of us, I think a job provides identity, meaningful identity. And so that's a very big challenge for us, right? And then all these issues related to linking value chain skills and productivity science is something that we really need to relook at in the context of emerging technologies, right? And technology without trust, how do we trust technology? How do we trust the people who control these technologies? Is a big challenge. Second big challenge is degrees does not mean employability. Just because you have a piece of paper which certifies you does not mean that you will be employable. That's a big challenge in India, right? And productivity, it really comprises of data plus people plus values. And so in a country like India, values unfortunately suffer, right? We have data and people, but everybody talks about values, but when it comes to operationalizing it, we do tend to take a lot of shortcuts. And I see that in my students also. I mean, and that's across. So that's how do we use this technology to take care of these issues is a big challenge. For leadership, organizational leadership, national leadership, the challenge is really having a balance between using the workforce and not replacing Technology should not be used to replace the workforce. It's going to be a big challenge for us. I remember seeing a series called Expanse. It was about a society in future, and they had this thing that they would pay people not to do anything. And I think in another 10 to 15 years, we might have a situation where everybody will be on dole because we need very few people. Also reminds me of a very old joke that organization of the future or the plane of a future will have a man and a dog. The man to feed the dog and the dog to make sure man doesn't touch anything. So if we are headed to that part of that kind of systems, then I'm not sure it's going to be socially stable. We'll have a lot of issues of social stability, right? Implications. AI governance is a big issue, and we need global frameworks, and somehow I don't see these coming up. Inclusive skilling is a problem, workforce readiness is a problem, and adoption of all these technologies is a problem. And of course, again, productivity gains are visible in certain areas. Again, areas where you have routine and engineering technologies, but maybe not so much in other areas. So we need to look at it. We hope that our experiments with all these smart grids, Bharat GPT, fintech layers can help other countries which are quite similar to ours. But it's going to be it's going to be a struggle to do that. Some of the things for me that stood out was AI-enabled productivity and responsibility. Okay, there is a lot of talk about it, but how it's going to play out is going to be a big challenge. Speed of technology and depth of human adoption is going to be a big challenge. Okay. And for people of my age, adopting to new technologies does not come naturally. Some of my younger colleagues are much more savvy at doing these things. And so given the, from a social perspective, the probability that you will lose a job if you're over 45, it's very real, right? And that's going to be a challenge. And then I think for all of us, we need to think through how does productivity science change with the coming of AI, okay? Because today, I think productivity science needs to address at least 2 or 3 elements of things. One is really human productivity. Second is humans with with technological using technology, and the third is really technology. The major proportion of work is done by technology with some intervention by people. So of course there could be many other things, but how do we do this is so what do we mean by productivity in the future is a question mark. I don't think, at least I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of all the literature. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm sure there must be work on this. But for me, one of the biggest challenges is this. Okay. We assume, unlike the Western countries where there is a low degree of variability, in India and much of the third world countries, the degree of variability in resources available to different sectors, different people is very different. Okay. And so they all exist at a very different time period. If I go to a village in India, it exists in a very different time period. And if if we are in Oasis here with the Management Institute, which is funded by the government, and that's a very different time period. Okay, I don't think what we talk about is anybody can relate to what we talk about, because it's They're just in a very different time period. So that's going to be a challenge. I think some of these challenges are going to be important even for first world countries, right? So those are some of my thoughts from the summit and my reflections on some of the summits. Thank you.
Muted. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Dr. Amit Gupta. That was very, eye-opening to the different challenges that we might have in the area of AI. And I love the way you help us to go deeper into how India is using AI. I'm so impressed. You know, those days when we were growing up, what we know about India was those India movie, India, India, I love Indian movies so much, and I love all the old actors and actresses, all the love story, all the music. But today, we're talking about AI and India. That is very, very, very awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, I think I also agree with you, the angle of teachability. How are people able to learn this new skill? Because it's a reality of the future. And if I'm not the future, today, it's very key that we need to know how do we adapt to the later. Trust is key. And that's why the power of ethical, AI, it's key, because AI can be used for different things. Cloning of voices, cloning of faces. They can even do video on behalf of you, speaking exactly like you. That is dangerous. And then we don't even know what is original again online. We begin to fear that how do we know original and then the fake one. So talking about the trust is very important. Employability is key, because people are losing jobs, people are getting jobs. So who are the people getting out because of AI? Who are the people coming in? What kind of skill do you need to put in to be able to align with the latest development? Speed of technology is very key. Many of us who are in our 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know how much we can catch up compared with the Gen Zs, the millennials, and the alpha generation. The alpha generation can pick your phone. Your great granddaughter can pick your phone today, and they just go in. Just like, how did they get in there? They just say, Daddy, I'm here. You like, how would happen here? So that shows that the speed of technology is going very fast. But the question is, what is the speed of knowledge? And how can we catch up? Thank you very much. Thank you for all the speakers. You did very well. And I think it's been very awesome. If you have, I don't know if there's any question. Anita, can you help me to check if there's any question? 1 or 2 questions, we can take that. If not, we need to do a wrap because of our time. I don't want us to hit beyond the time. Anita, is there any question in the so if you have any question quickly?
No question on the chat.
No question. Okay. Or you want to just raise your hand, just one question, and then we take a wrap. And if I can't find any question right now, then that means all our speakers did a very good job. Or you have provoked so much thoughts that we can't even ask any question. We are just thinking. We are thinking, how can we cope with this new reality? That's awesome. And I want to say to the young generation, because I know many new members are joining us from Africa, who are just joining the World Academy of Productivity Science, and then they're excited today. And I want to say that beyond the images, beyond the videos of AI can do much more. It can help in education, it can help in energy, security, manufacturing, infrastructure, so much. And the list is endless. So let's brace up, let's learn more, let's upskill, let's upgrade, let's get more knowledge as we wrap up. Okay. So Anissa, any information, you want to drop? I know Sin is not around. You want to drop anything before I wrap up? I want to do a wrap now.
Wrap now, because we already 2 minutes past.
Okay. All right. So we are doing well with time, because we started 3 minutes past. So we are good. All right. So I want everybody to on your camera and smile. I'm the photographer of today. So it's not AI. We want original photography. So everybody smile to the camera. If you anywhere you are, please on your camera. Thank you. I can see first. Please on your camera, everybody. We're going to take picture. I want everybody to on your camera right now. and then we are going to take picture. If you are not in a compromising state, please on your camera. We want to take picture for memories. All right. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much for coming around. Thank you, our Dr. Guptan. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. I mean, I see. Okay, yeah, I see my African friend from South Africa. Thank you, Professor Banos. Thank you. All right. So, thank you, Anita. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you. I think Leon is just out. Is join us later, but I think we are done. I thank you for everybody who's coming. I see you, Lewis. I see you, Festus. I see Bountiful. I see a lot of people here. I don't want to mention all the name one by one, but let's take our pictures so we can get out of here. All right, so let's smile to the camera and say 1, 2, smile. Go. Let me check. I know somebody's just coming in now, so we need to take that person. Just a minute. We're going to do this in the quick. We are not using AI. I'm using direct. Okay, so let's go again. I see somebody smiling. Everybody smile again. Open your teeth. Thank you. Good. Let me take the other side. We have 2 slides. So I need to take the other side too and see how they look.
Hi, Mr. Raphael.
Okay. All right. So let's go. I'll do another one. Okay. All right. So for the final time, for those who are in the other room, let's take this. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an awesome moment. Thank you very much for coming around. We learned so much. We've written so much. Please, let's go and practice what we learned. Let's go deeper. Let's study more. And Leon dropped a link about the research they're doing in MIT concerning AI, and I think it's a fantastic research. You can go ahead and learn more, read more. By the time we meet again, we're going to let you know the next topic, the next day, and the next venue will also always be Zoom. Thank you, Anita. Thank you. I see my friend, I see my senior colleague, Thomas.
Is it possible to have the recording? Is it possible to have the recording?
Yes, we're going to have that. Yeah. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. The recording is going to be on YouTube when we're done. I'm going to send the link to everybody who attend to this event. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vamos, Tutu. Thank you. Long time. Good to see you again. All right. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you. Pastor Shade, thank you. I see you. Bountiful, I see you. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Bolu Atife. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Festus, I see you. Thank you, Ronas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ratho. Thank you. Thank you. All right.